let's discuss these brand new troops that were just released. So we do have some information here that I'm going to pull up. Super important that you watch throughout this whole video so you will actually understand what's going on with these brand new troops. As we see, we just got yellow, red, blue, purple, and green, everything like that. The very first comparison that people are going to go and look at when looking at these new troops, they're going to look at the stats. So first and foremost, it's 22% attack, 16 defense, 22% healing increase, and the mana increase. This is a big, huge thing right now. So this has the mana bonus here as well. Before in the past, these troops were the only troops that had mana bonus, but now we have another troop that is at 20%. So what is the biggest difference between these, the situation here? So these have 26% on the attack and then the 18% defense. When we look at these new ones, these have 22% and 16% defense. Now here's where things kind of shift a little bit. You've got 22% healing and 20% on the mana bonus, and 20% healing and 15% on the mana bonus. So in terms of what this does, you're going to be healing a bit more, but also gaining a substantial amount of mana. So a lot of times people are looking at that like, is the 15 versus 20 a big difference? Yeah, it's a huge difference. And one of the things that we look at, which is kind of most important for this kind of scenario, is looking at, well, how does this actually impact the game? What does this do for things? How is this relevant? So we actually have a chart here that was developed by our very own Guvnor. If you guys have checked him out or seen him in the forums, an extremely important player, making a ton of different content, and he's created a chart that kind of shows you the differences in this. So I can't take any of the credit on this. This is all my buddy Guvnor, who was able to put this all together and put it into play. So I will have a link in the description so you can download this for yourself. So don't worry about the image quality on this. You'll have a nice, cool image quality on this. So this shows you a chart of everything within the game right now. So we have our mana troops, critical troops, ninja troops as well. So going through this is the level, mana, everything that you're getting at the increased level. So again, huge props to being able to do this to where you actually level them up to see what actually changes and is impacted by this. So this goes all the way up from 5 to 20 here. The big thing that we're going to be looking at is the mana situation. Now you're going to ask yourself, well, what does this matter? How does this even play into things? Well, essentially what it does is it shaves off the amount of tiles that you are able to get when using this. So we have this here. This will tell you kind of how fast stuff is to charge. So you can see very fast at 6.5, very slow is at 13.5. Now, when you have mana troops assembled and put onto things, it will help out to be able to bring these characters to where they are formulating, and they will be able to do their moves a whole lot quicker than if they're just regularly doing it. So what this is kind of like a breakdown of everything in it that explains how this works. Again, this is all from Guvnor, who was able to kind of calculate everything out. So this is the progression of the magic troops versus versus our mana troops that we're traditionally aware of. So at level 1, this is comparing the two between them. Okay, so this left side here, 5, 8, 11, 14, if you see that, level 1 is at 5, level 5 is at 8. That is going to be the brand new troop. So the second one is going to be our traditional mana troop at those different things. So at level 1, 5, those are the big breaking points that you have it. The big part is what this actually changes. So if you compare them, say you have them both at level 30, there's no change between very fast. Very fast isn't going to get an additional mana charge. Fast, you will need a level 23 versus level 29, which will decrease a tile it costs. And then average, it's at level 17 versus level 29 or level 23, which that one's a big one because it only takes it's only going to take the 9 tiles versus the 10 tiles. Slow 11 versus 17, and then if you get a double break at 29, so you actually take off 2 tiles. And then very slow, if you have a druid, you can actually take off 3 tiles. You can take off 3 tiles off of very slow. So a lot of times when people are assessing mana troops, the conversation just ends right here on the amount of tiles it takes for an individual hero to be going off, and then that. What this doesn't consider, which is what I would probably consider being the most important part, is of how much the mana troops impact defensive. So what we've seen right now, when we look at offensive characters in Empires and Puzzles, there's a ton of amazing offensive heroes. However, defensive heroes are usually the ones that people are most sought after for. They're most trying to use, they're the most trying to exploit. In comparison to really great offensive heroes versus really great defensive heroes, having a defensive hero makes a much bigger impact than offensive heroes. So, because we just have so many offensive heroes that are amazing. So when we're putting our troops and assembling them, the big focal point that everybody is looking at is going to be your defense. So having that additional 5 extra percentage that you're going to be getting, regardless of whether or not it's going to reduce tiles or not, it's going to make it so the hero is going to fire their special off a lot quicker versus somebody that's using the regular mana troops. So I hate to be the one to say it. Yeah, these troops are absolutely amazing. A lot of people may shrug it off that it's not that big of a deal, but you guys have no idea how much of a difference this is going to make on defense, because everybody talks about offense. Everybody's talking about shaving off tiles, which is important. But on the defensive side of things, heroes are just going to be firing off so much faster. It's going to be so much more aggravating. So I think that this is going to be one of those situations that people don't realize how much this impacts the game. And it's going to take a slow progression, and people are going to slowly realize about 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, when they realize how big of a difference these new tower troops are going to be at that additional 5% increase. It's going to be a big difference, and we're not talking about it. I also don't understand why Small Giant decided to just release these heroes and they're not being great in terms of putting it into beta first, so we can tell them, hey man, this is going to be pretty insane. We should probably test this out and see if the defenses are way overbroken, and maybe share you guys some videos that show you how broken these troops are. They don't care. They just want to release the troops so we could spend more money. And unfortunately, it did work for me. I did collect all the different troops. And I absolutely plan on leveling them up. So yeah, this is a big issue. It's a big situation. We're not talking about it too much from the perspective of defense, but I hope you guys are now. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of the tower troops?